It's perfect.
Okay.
All right, you're live.
All right, guys. Okay, I am so excited. So, this is the very first time that we have done a Facebook Live and a Lunch and Learn on yoni steaming. And this is Emmy Huddleston, who owns Peach Steams. I'm so excited. And she custom formulated all of our herbal blends for yoni steaming. So, for those of you who don't know what yoni steaming is, Emmy's going to go through this PowerPoint presentation for you. And we got a tremendous amount of publicity on this weekend, or this week, when Landon from Living with Landon and Carrie Hayes came upstairs and did a whole yoni steaming party. So it's actually perfect timing. They had no idea we had this scheduled.
Yeah, it was fabulous.
Already, I know. And Emmy was there and she got to speak with them. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Dani Williamson and I own Integrative Family Medicine, and I see all kinds of autoimmune disease and Hashimoto's and thyroid problems and gut health and adrenal health and all that. And we've just recently expanded into upstairs where we have a whole little spa area where we have yoni steaming and a sauna and a biomat and all kinds of great things. So today, and we do tons of free lunch and learns, which those of you that are on the Dani Williamson Wellness page will see under events, you'll see, and then on Instagram it's Dani Williamson Wellness, and on Instagram for you it's
At Peach Steams.
Peach Steams.
Fruit, peach, and then steam with an S.
Perfect. Okay, so we're going to get started. She's a clinical herbalist, lives in Colorado, and is here for 2 weeks. Did you come here for 2 weeks?
Yep.
So it's perfect timing, and we're going to talk about all the benefits of the ancient art and the modality of vaginal yoni steaming. Okay? All right, take it away.
Thank you so much.
No,
Thank you so much for having me here, by the way.
Well, you are so welcome.
appreciate
I'm
it.
thrilled to
I think
death.
you're doing fabulous things, and I appreciate
Well, I appreciate it.
the invitation.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, Emmy. Thank you.
All right. Okay, hi, everybody.
Hi.
Just real quick, can we go around and say names just so I feel familiar with everyone that's here, so I can kind of open it up as conversation? And just start in with your Ginger.
Yeah, Ginger,
Nice
working
to
here.
see you.
I'm Allie.
Allie. My mom. Here.
I'm Amberly.
Hi, Amber. Nice to meet you.
Wendy.
Wendy. Sad.
Mhm.
And
Kayla.
then Kayla. Okay, cool. Nice to meet you guys. Thank you so much for coming.
Speak up.
Speak up.
Mhm.
Okay.
It's live.
Is this loud enough?
Yes.
Okay. So, today I'm talking about yoni steaming, also known as vaginal steaming, also known as baju, also known as chayuk. All of the following mean vaginal steaming. Basically, what it is, you can see my nice little rudimentary drawings here. Very helpful. A woman or a man even can sit on a stool, and there's heat, water, herbs, and steam that comes out of everything. Basically, it's similar to when you steam your face or steam your sinuses when you have a cold. You're adding heat, water, herbs, and then your body basically takes it in, and it has a lot of benefits. Sorry guys, I'm a bit nervous.
Oh, don't be nervous. We're all family here.
Okay, so basically, yoni steaming is really cool because it is a healing modality that's not just internal or not just external. It's kind of transdermal. It's really cool because typically when you just have something topical or internal, you're only like hitting something from one point. When with vaginal steaming, you have steam that's hitting the outside of the vagina, and also it transdermally comes into the skin and into the vagina and into the uterus, and basically creates a lot of circulation, a lot of it moves a lot of lymph, a lot of blood, and your body is eventually able to kind of open up that pelvic region and get a lot more blood flow, and it allows itself to naturally kind of start to heal itself. Hi.
Come on in. You're ready.
So basically, to explain how it's done, pretty much just like very simple 7 steps. You boil water, you have your herbs ready. So for instance, you would have this can of herbs, and you boil water. When it comes to a boiling point, you would have another vessel that you would have the herbs in, and then you would pour the boiling water into that vessel. And then that kind of allows the herbs to start releasing constituents into the water. You cover that, put it beneath a chair, and then you cover yourself and sit over that steam. And that kind of tents all the steam in, allowing the steam only to get up in the vaginal region. And then you typically want about, depending on the heat of the steam, from 6 inches later in the steam, if you're feeling less steam, all the way to 14 inches, just to make sure you're getting maximum exposure to the steam. Then you want to sit for about 10 to 30 minutes, depending on what's going on with your body, or if you have particular reasons to not steam for a long time, which I'll go over in a bit. But 10 to 30 minutes is typically the time that you would sit. So the history of vaginal steaming, I did a lot of research on this, and I found that vaginal steaming actually originates from multiple different places across the world. There's people that have been steaming for years, since the time that written medical records were starting to be kept. Vaginal steaming was present in multiple different cultures. And then when cultures have been spoken to today, many of them have been passing this down orally for we don't even know how long. So that's really, really cool. And these are just a few countries that have specifically said, yes, we've been doing this for years and years and years. So we have ancient Greece, Africa, Indonesia, Thailand, Korea, India, Central and South America, especially the Mayans. They're one of the biggest groups that have spread this, which is why it's called Yoni steaming, because that's what it's called there, which means womb. Also, this is a cool note, in Norwegian countries, they've stated that they've been doing this for years and years and years, and it's always postpartum, and there, after women have a baby, for the 30 days after they have that baby, they steam every single day. After this second or third day, depending on whether or not they've passed all of the Lorkia, which is all the afterbirth mass. And then basically there, it's like if you don't do that, you weren't taken care of as a woman after.
That's correct.
Birthing.
Yes.
So it's very prevalent in other areas. Why we're just starting to see it, I think, is for a number of reasons. I think because of the way that our country started with like Puritan values from the 50s, and women having to be very like proper and not talk about their bodies and not share what's going on. And
Well, thank God for Gwyneth Paltrow
right?
sharing it.
Right?
Right. That's right.
So why does it work? Basically, the way that I like to think of it, in my training, I was trained as an herbalist in the vitalist tradition, which basically means that I believe that the body has an innate way of healing itself. It has
Amen.
a vital energy, and we all have that. Basically, what steam does is it invigorates that vital energy, specifically in the pelvic region. So when you apply heat and steam and herbal constituents, along with a little bit of intention and attention to your own body, the body does amazing things. Somewhat inexplicable at this point, because there's not really any studies right now, just because it's not a big moneymaker, because it ends the end road for vaginal steaming, along with diet change, lifestyle change, is healing. And there's not a whole lot of money once you've found healing. So
Well, it's not made by big pharma.
yeah.
So there's not going to be a lot of big money in it.
You can't patent a plant.
No, you sure can't.
But basically what that does is it increases the amount of inflammation in the pelvic region, which allows the body then to detoxify. It also loosens the muscles. And like I was saying earlier, like a sinus steam kind of loosens anything that's kind of stuck in your uterus, and also softens the tissue while toning it at the same time, allowing the body to push out what is no longer needed, and also tone everything up, get it back in shape, and work wonders in the Let's see here. So a lot of the reasons that women have problems in the first place when it comes to uterine and vaginal health is due to pelvic stagnation, which is kind of a Chinese medicine point of view of things. But basically, that happens a lot when today and age we're sitting all the time. And unless you're exercising properly, you have no inflammation from like a great diet, you don't exercise too much, no muscular tension, unless you have like all of this laid out for you and that you're doing every single thing you can do to work on your body, most of us have a little bit of pelvic stagnation, especially if there's any sexual trauma or any feelings of suppression towards sexuality. A lot of different things can cause pelvic stagnation. The cool thing about steaming is, like I've been saying, it basically brings in so much circulation that stagnation breaks, allowing the body to kind of come in and move blood and move lymph and heal things. That's everything there. Yeah, so pelvic stagnation can end up resulting in a lot of illnesses. From cramps to PCOS, just basically your body's not getting the access that it needs to the pelvic floor and to the whole womb. It can cause issues with pregnancy, etc. But yeah, the steams kind of help break that up quite a bit. So, like I've been talking about, when inflammation goes down, and this again has to do with diet, exercise, all that stuff that boosts the effects of the steams tremendously, which is, I think, you're doing great work there, and that's Dani's working with people on that level. So this is always a really, really great addition to that. But steams make inflammation go down, circulation go up, and therefore the body becomes more efficient and able to do all of these things. So we're having an easier time expelling old uterine residue, which a lot of the time is seen as brown blood during your menses. Heals wounds more quickly, so after pregnancy you have wounds, oftentimes from just giving birth, and the steaming with the specific herbs involved will help heal those wounds more quickly, reduce infection, and just kind of help the body get the circulation to do so more quickly. Allows organs to sit naturally where they would. So a lot of times with the uterine prolapse, it helps to correct that. Detoxification of just the general pelvic region, which can sometimes mean breaking down cysts and getting out excess discharge. Helps to clear infections more efficiently, regulate hormones, heighten fertility and libido, reduce anxiety, and regulate periods, cramping, etc. So some specific illnesses and disorders that it can help with are just PMS and cramping, vaginal infections, irregular menses, low libido, ovarian cysts, infertility, hormone imbalances, PCOS, and anxiety, and more. Who's contraindicated to steam? So if you're pregnant or possibly pregnant, you do not want to steam because what it does physiologically when you steam, it opens up the cervical valve, I guess is what that is, but so it opens up the cervix, and when you open up the cervix when you're pregnant is not necessarily the best thing because then the baby may start to drop. That typically takes a lot of steam and a lot of heat, but it is still contraindicated. Oh, I'm sorry. 1 second here, guys. Thank you.
So an actual IUD, the arm implant, yes it is, for those with the arm implant, but not an IUD. It's not contraindicated. No, I misread it.
Okay, no worries.
I read implant.
So yeah, if there's active bleeding, including any sort of spotting, especially miscarriage, because when you're bleeding and then you steam, like I said, it increases circulation such a large amount that then you can actually start bleeding a tremendous amount, and it's not blood loss reasons. If you have a hot itching infection, it will typically aggravate that just because it is it's like a very yang practice. So when you increase heat and you already have heat present, it's sometimes aggravating. So if you're trying to become pregnant, you do not want to steam after possible insemination until you have had your period again, or you have a negative pregnancy test 2 weeks prior to possibly conceiving a child. Then again, for those with an arm implant, birth control, it can actually rework your body's hormones because your body's able to more properly function where it makes a lot of its hormones. So if you're on some sort of implanted hormone-based birth control, it can mess with the function of that and you can become pregnant. So that is contraindicated. And then those with tubal coagulation or laparoscopy tubing, tube tying, as birth control. So again, with the increase of circulation, it also helps to break down scar tissue, which is what this specific type of birth control is based upon. Creates scar tissue so that you cannot get pregnant, but steaming actually helps to break that down, which then would open up the possibility for you to become pregnant again. Is that right? That's the right kind of, I'm thinking the correct.
It's okay.
Okay. You please correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to misinform anyone. All right. So some other cautions. If you have a nuva ring, remove this before steaming. If you have an IUD, you only want to steam for 10 minutes because again, it opens up the cervix and can loosen the IUD or have it come out. If you have an infection, again, a hot steaming infection, don't steam. But if you have an active infection, you just want to steam for a shorter period of time.
If you have a hot, steamy infection, please go see your gynecologist
Yes.
before you come here. Sorry. No. I don't want your hot, steamy infection in my hot, steamy crock pot upstairs. So, no.
Keep it away. Those that experience hot flashes. So some people have actually experienced hot flashes to go away after steaming just because of hormone regulation. That happens when you steam often. However, if you're having a lot of hot flashes, sometimes they can aggravate them. So you just need to be aware of that. So it's better just to steam for a shorter period of time.
Correct.
Postpartum care steam users. So basically you don't want to steam right after you have a baby and you're still passing afterbirth mass. But after that period, it's really, really great to steam up to every day with a gentle, like a very gentle blend, up to every day for a month or until your period returns. So steaming, and like I said, in the Norwegian countries, they use this specifically for that. And it actually tends to bring the period on within 2 months of having a child. So it brings it back much sooner than a lot of women have, just because there's so much loss of circulation after you give birth, and there's so much your body's having to put back in order. There's just too much work to do. So to get your period back without doing something like this. And so does everybody have a pretty good idea of how it works and how you steam and all that jazz before we talk about herbs?
Yep.
Okay. So this is kind of my specialty as an herbalist. I formulated these blends really specifically to help women with particular issues, and having the knowledge behind the herbs and their actions and the way that they present themselves as moist, dry, stimulating, relaxing, etc. So we'll talk a little bit about that and what that means. So a few herbs that meet the criteria of being good yoni steam herbs are those with really high essential oils, because plants, when they're in water, they release a lot of their constituents. However, those constituents are pretty heavy most of the time. Volatile oils, also known as essential oils, are very light. So they travel up in steam extremely easily, and steam does kind of knock around those herbal constituents, so you get some up in steam other than volatile oils, but most of them are going to kind of remain in water with the exception of those oils. Let's see here. So we've got peppermint, white sage, rose, vitex berry, calendula, damiana, lavender, oregano, chaparral, thyme, rosemary, motherwort, peony, mugwort, and a few others that I didn't have quite enough room to fit on here. These are some of the ones that I have used just because they are really strong plants. Some of them are very neutral when it comes to constitution, which we'll talk about in just a second, as to not aggravate anyone that's steaming. So why do those herbs make the cut? All of them, or nearly all of them, are the following. So they're anti-inflammatory, they increase circulation to the pelvic region especially. Some herbs just increase the circulation in general in the body, but then I've used a lot of other herbs that actually have an affinity for the pelvic region, so they actually bring the body's attention to the pelvic region while increasing circulation, does that make sense? Okay. They're wound healing, relaxant to the muscular system, so when you have a tight uterus or a uterus that is too relaxed, I have both included herbs that tonify and they also relax. And herbs are really interesting in a way that some herbs can do both at once, which those herbs I have made an effort to include as well. They're antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal. Some of them, especially in the purify, are amenagogue, which means they encourage movement and contraction of the uterus in a relaxed way to move tissue that is there and not supposed to be there out, or to encourage a period, or to encourage the passage of anything that is within the uterus, just outward, the way that the body would naturally do so. So it's calming to the nervous system, and again tonifying to the skin and other epithelial tissues, which are mucous membranes, which you would find in your mouth, in your belly, in your gut, and in your vaginal canal and uterus. And again, a lot of them have a strong affinity for the reproductive system in general. So I've kind of broken down one of my steams just so that you guys can get a good idea of what that looks like. So for instance, I'll pass around this one. This is the soothing blend, and I'll give, you guys can take a look here.
Mm-hmm.
It's got some
beautiful
rose and calendula in there. I'll start it over here. So the herbs in this blend have been specifically formulated to be really gentle, very calming, very toning, and basically just it's a very basic blend. So anyone can use this blend if there's like if you're worried about having something being too strongly amenagogue, so helping things to pass, or too strongly disinfecting, or too strongly anywhere too strong. This is a really great one. So this is why I'm discussing it, because it's very basic. So calendula, these yellow flowers in here that you see, heals wounds, detoxifies the liver and the blood and the lymph. It stimulates lymph flow, cleans, like I said, cleans the blood. It's antiseptic, it's soothing, highly soothing to the skin especially. It's very highly anti-inflammatory and has an affinity for the skin and the pelvic region. Rose smells wonderful. So it's relaxing to your nervous system because you're like, oh wow, this smell of rose is fabulous. It tonifies skin, astringes tissues. It's again soothing to the skin and the nervous system. It's highly anti-inflammatory and has an affinity for mucous membranes, skin, and the nervous system. So when you have, if you've ever had rose tea, there's this feeling after you drink it that kind of like brings all the tissues in your mouth together, and basically what it's doing is it's astringing those tissues and tonifying them so that they are not too relaxed and not too tight, but they just kind of function optimally, and that's rose for you. But it does it in a very gentle way while also kind of bringing in some moisture. Lavender is very calming, antispasmodic to muscles, so it really helps for cramping and pain specifically. It's disinfectant, decongesting, so again, if you have congestion in your pelvic region, it helps to move that. It's anti-inflammatory and has an affinity for the nervous system. Peony root. Peony I've included in multiple different steams. It's in the Soothe, it's in the Purify, and I believe it's also in the Cooling one. And peony root is amazing because it works specifically with women's issues. It has a really high affinity for the reproductive system. It's moistening, it's astringing slightly. It helps to regulate hormones, and in one of my very favorite Chinese herbal books, it's known to harmonize hormone function. So it basically brings the hormone function back into harmony, helps to reduce spasms, again, of the uterus, therefore helping with cramps and pain. It's cooling, it's relaxant, tones and astringes, relaxant to the nervous system, anti-inflammatory, pain-reducing, and a pelvic decongestant. This little quote here is from one of my favorite herbalists, in Matthew Wood, and it says, unwinding action promotes toning and drainage, softening effect allowing to pelvic organs to receive fluids. So basically it softens the womb, and it also tones the womb, allowing it to receive proper circulation from the body and then move out whatever is no longer necessary. Damiana is an awesome herb for everything women's based. It has a very, very, very high affinity for the pelvic region. It's one of those that if you drink the tea, you can actually, if you pay attention to your body, you can feel movement in your pelvic region. It's just wild. It increases libido, antispasmodic, so again for cramping it's great. Circulatory stimulant, stagnation reducer, again very high affinity for the reproductive system. Linden is also, it's a tree that grows prolifically from where I'm from, and when you stand beneath it in the spring, it's like taking this big breath of just calm. So I've included that one just for a relaxing effect of the nervous system, of the uterus and the womb. It's a cardio relaxant, so if your heart is beating really fast, it kind of just relaxes your heart and kind of allows the blood to flow in a calm, soothing fashion. It reduces anxiety and is generally uplifting. And then raspberry leaf is one of my very favorites. It's very high in minerals. Pregnant women should drink as much raspberry leaf tea as they possibly can. And it basically provides tons and tons and tons of minerals that benefit the reproductive system. It has a very high affinity for reproductive organs and is a uterine trophil restorative, which basically means it restores the uterus over time. So that is one of the herbal ones. And then I have my herbs up here, and you should give it a try yourself. Does anybody have questions? Oh, everything is organic that I put in here.
Yes.
Every single thing. It's all organic or wildcrafted. Wildcrafted is actually, if it's done sustainably, which the companies that I source herbs from do, can actually be more powerful because they're grown in nature.
Right.
And so they've been tested and pushed, and they've often got way more essential oils. So when I can get wildcrafted, I do. But everything in here is organic, so you don't want any like chemicals coming up. So
Well, especially if you've spent decades putting traditional tampons and pads
Yes.
in your vagina and
Exactly.
Roundup and bleach in your vagina
Yeah.
decade after decade after decade, like
Yeah.
I did.
that doesn't help.
Am I right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable. Nobody ever told us.
I didn't know.
Nobody told me either. And if you're struggling with infertility or PCOS or, bad cramps, heavy clotting, get the regular tampons and pads out of your vagina. It's fascinating the messages I get from girls.
It is.
So you want those organic. I spent 4 decades putting Roundup in mine, and then I stopped having a period. I'm irritated because I would like to have tried it without the Roundup. It might have been a little less toxic in there. And so anyway, so you don't want your herbs. If you're going to sit on a pot of steaming herbs, those need to be organic as well.
Absolutely. Yes. If you're doing a steam at home and picking your own herbs, everyone out there and everyone in here, please get organic herbs. Please, please, please.
I have a question.
Yes.
So it seems like if this is so healing and detoxifying and circulatory stimulating for your vagina and your female region, it would also work for people that have hemorrhoids.
Yes.
Which of course men and women have hemorrhoids.
Ooh, good
And
question.
Elderly
Actually-
people really experience a lot of trouble with
Oh,
hemorrhoids.
sure.
That's on my
Well,
brain.
women who've had a lot of well, you're not
Well,
elderly
but-
for
but,
crying
you
out
know,
loud, but
yeah,
women who've had a lot of
women
babies as well
Right.
have a lot of
Yeah,
hemorrhoids.
it's magnificent for that. So again.
So which blend would we use for hemorrhoids?
For hemorrhoids,
What would be the one?
I would personally use I would use the Soothe one because it's got the most astringent herbs in it.
Yeah,
Because for hemorrhoids, what you want is toning of tissue.
right.
And because there's so much lax tone, because you're sitting a lot, and then you just basically you're having it's a problem of too much relaxation. So what you want is you want attention to that area, so circulation, and then you want astringency.
That's right.
And then when you can get a little bit of disinfecting, which all of these have in them. So I would go with this Soothe. for
Yeah.
sure.
Great.
Would you use the same for prolapse?
I would. Yeah, I would.
So anything that's going to help bring it up,
Yeah.
astringe it, tighten it up.
Exactly. I would use the soothing one for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's something that works tremendously for prolapse. Just because a lot of the times there's prolapse because, again, some pelvic stagnation, maybe just you've had so much stress that the muscles in your pelvic region are pulling things one way or another. So when there is that kind of picture, if you have something that is going to first relax and then tone, that's ideal. Because you're allowing the muscles to kind of relax and fall where they would, and then tell the body, okay, let's bring things back. So it's very harmonizing, I guess is the best word to use for that. Just kind of brings harmony back.
So some of the questions we got this week when Landon and her crew and Carrie were here was, well, what if you don't have any problems? I mean, we feel fine. We don't have hemorrhoids. We're not trying to get pregnant. We're not in for, all those things. So anyone who just wants to come steam, just
I would
steam,
still go with this guy, the Soothe one.
the Soothe one.
Just because it's like I said, it's very gentle, yet works very strongly because of the plants that are in it. They have such a high affinity for female repro that if there is an issue, it would at least address it to some degree.
Right.
And a lot of the times, women that don't have issues still do have some degree of pelvic stagnation just because of a lot of sitting or sexual trauma or sexual suppression.
Correct.
Etc. Really, really, just being a woman today sometimes
Stressful
can be
enough.
hard.
Sure.
Yeah, and a lot of us as women hold stress in our pelvic region.
Sure we do.
So to relax that is fabulous.
Someone's asked
Oh,
if
yes.
there are especially blends for people who have had a hysterectomy. Would be one you would recommend for after a hysterectomy?
Hysterectomy.
Yeah, post-hysterectomy.
How soon after a hysterectomy?
It doesn't say.
Just a hysterectomy
Well,
in general.
Just a hysterectomy in general. I would go with the cooling because it has a lot of hormone regulation benefits. When you've had your uterus removed, there's a lot of disruption. So I would.
Yeah, lose your. Yeah.
You're stuck. I would go with that one because it kind of just soothes and cools and brings a lot of moisture to the area. And again, it is going to be astringent and also calming and all the other things. But it just brings a little bit of extra hormone focus.
Well, people who have hysterectomy and people who go through menopause, the first thing that dries up is the vaginal area. It's like sandpaper, I hear. I'm not there yet, but I hear it every day in here. So, oh my gosh, Dani, it's like glass in there. What can we do? So I've got things to do for that I help.
Oh, man.
But yes, so you better enjoy it while you can, ladies, because trust me, it gets, rough, literally. Sorry, Emmy, this is your show. But, so, anything that you can do to moisten it down there, I hate that word, but yes, that's a great thing to do down there because, and anything you put in the vagina is very vascular, so it's going to soak up anything, good or bad. And if you can get it lubricated,
It's
post-hysterectomy, post-menopausal, yeah, absolutely.
And something that I didn't mention that these also do is when you have steam and herbs combined in the vaginal canal, there are actually kind of like, they're similar to our salivary glands, but there are some glands that are attached to the vaginal canal, and it actually activates them. So it just brings on a little bit more moisture naturally because you're stimulating those glands.
Great.
So that's something it does as well.
So don't you have a stool that you can do at home?
Yes.
Yeah, did you bring that?
I didn't.
Oh, no, because you came from Colorado.
I didn't
That's,
bring it,
what are you
but
traveling with your yoni stool?
Very nice.
Excuse me. This is my therapy stool instead of my therapy dog. So if you want to steam from home, you are selling your formulas, correct?
I am, yes.
Are they ready to go and all of that? Because I would love to do that here as well and sell in our supplement store.
So I just finished with all of the labels, and I've got a little bit more copy to put on the website, but the website should be launched by the end of this weekend.
Perfect.
So everything will be available by the end of the week.
Perfect. And follow her on Instagram as well, Peach Steams.
At Peach Steams.
At Peach Steams, yep.
And you'll get to see information about herbs, information about vaginal health, uterine health, etc. So we'll be putting information out there. Basically, I made this company because I feel like there isn't adequate information
Correct.
and tools for women to bring their health back to themselves and like bring it into their own hands. So basically, I'm doing this so that people can say, okay, like, I want to take my health back into my own hands. How do I do it? Here are the tools. Here's the info. Go for it.
That's exactly right. I'm so proud of you because she's a kid. I mean, this woman is just a kid and she started this. I mean, this is amazing. So when I knew that we wanted to do this, and you should have seen Allie's face when I said, we're going to become certified veggie steamers. And she said, what? We got enough on our plate down here. I said, no, we're going to put a veggie steaming room upstairs. She goes, I don't even know what that is. And I said, well, you're getting ready to take a test and you're going to have a certificate. And we're all certified veggie steamers, by the way, not just anyone. You should not trust just anyone with your veggie steaming. So we're all certified. And Allie's got her certificate. But she said, oh my gosh, Emmy's an herbalist. So we could have bought traditional herbs and all that stuff, and I did not want to go through that. And this one took the bull by the horns and had not, where you weren't formulating yoni herbs.
I wasn't. I had learned so much in this process. It's exciting.
And this is how things change people. Little ripples are what create huge things in this world, right? And so just from us saying that to this, and now this gal has her own business in Colorado and is out there. I mean, who knew at this age you were going to be yoni formulating?
It pushed me to do so much research and work, and I wanted it to be better than all the other steams that are out there.
Good.
So I looked into, okay, what's this company doing? What's that company doing? What are the herbs? What are those herbs doing? What's in those herbs? Do they have enough volatile oils? And so these guys are very special in the way that I've worked my ass off to
Well, here's the reason.
make sure they're good.
Well, you want someone formulating herbs or whatever it is you're doing who that's their passion. That's what she is an herbalist, for crying out loud. She's not just trying to make a buck by somebody says, here, put these together, figure it out. I would have to go figure it out, wouldn't know the oils in it and all that. So I'm thrilled to death. I'm excited to support you. thank you for being here. And we're going to take you all upstairs. We do have somebody steaming up there right now, so we got to time that right, because generally it's a private thing unless you have a whole group of women like we did this week, and there was nothing relaxing about it. Everybody was just having fun. I mean, nobody felt because they were just cackling like a bunch of chickens in there. It was the funnest, it was the most fun. But generally it's very soothing and very calming, and I appreciate it. And guys, thank you for watching. And you are welcome. You can sign up online if you want to Yoni Steam. It's just under DaniWilliamson.com under services. Oh, book now. Book now. It's going to be changed because that seems weird, book now. But we're going to change it to services, and you can sign up on there. You can do it, or you can come see the Yoni room anytime you want.
Which is beautiful, by the way.
We've worked hard on that. We had those chairs custom built, and the Amish supplied the wood, which is a whole other story. They're building Yoni chairs now. So I know. So anyway, we're just spreading the love out there. So Emmy, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you so much. We'll share this if you're interested, or if you know anybody who's interested, you're welcome to share this video and go follow Emmy on Instagram.
Yeah, so if you're close, come to her. If you're not close enough, my website is www.peachsteams.com. You can get stools, you can get steams, so you will have everything that you need to do
at home. And the reason we even started this, a patient of mine was going through infertility treatments, and she had seen several places here in town. She researched it on her own. I'm not a fertility doctor. I mean, I'm a nurse midwife, but I'm not a fertility doctor, so I really didn't know. I was getting everything else in order for her. And she started Yoni steaming at home. Her husband built her a chair, built her a stool. She figured out her own herbs. She got pregnant, and she came to me. She has one baby, and this baby is a precious, precious girl. And she's the reason that it even came on my radar. I was like, good Lord, I don't even know what that is. So because of Erin, here we are, here you are, and I love the way it works, right? So, all right, guys, we appreciate you. Have a fabulous weekend. It's Friday. It's great, and we'll see you next week. Actually, we are having 2 new lunch and learns. One is on benzo addiction and coming off of Valium, Xanax, Klonopin, Ambien, all the things that people are ashamed of and scared to say they're addicted to. I have someone who I've helped come off of that, come off of Xanax, and she's going to lead a lunch and learn on her journey and surviving a benzo addiction. And then we're doing one after that on breast implant illness, and 2 people will be coming and talking about having their breast implants explanted and how much better they're feeling now. So I'm really looking forward to those 2, and you'll see those under events on Dani Williamson Wellness. Have a great weekend. Appreciate you. Thank you.